can't believe the voting bill didn't pass. Now Republicans are going to block minorities from voting. How are they going to do that? Well, they're going to make the voter ID restrictions harder. How does that suppress minority votes? Well, because the way they enforce it, like your address on your voter registration has to match your ID. How does that suppress minority votes? Because it has to be an exact match. How does that suppress minority votes?
Uh-oh, this is a classic example of a right-winger straw man argument. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he did not have this conversation with a Democrat. Buddy, if you did, I apologize, that person was an idiot, but more likely, you just didn't understand the Democrat you were talking to because you're an idiot. Let's talk about what a straw man argument is, so you can recognize it and combat it when you're in the wild. A straw man argument is when, rather than address your opponent's actual arguments, you make up a weak and distorted version of their argument, or a straw man, and you tear that straw man apart. That way you never have to encounter their actual argument. Because voter ID laws are not about matching the carpet to the drapes or whatever he said. Voting is a right. There shouldn't be barriers between you and your rights. Period. Voter ID laws target the 21 million Americans who don't have the specific type of voter ID that they, on the Republican side of the aisle, deem to be the end-all be-all of whether or not you can vote. And that includes, lo and behold, 25% of African-American voters as opposed to 8% of white voters. They are annoyingly strategic about what kind of IDs are okay. For example, in Texas, you're allowed to bring your concealed weapons permit to the polls because Republicans tend to have those, but you can't bring your student ID to the polls because students are more likely to vote for Democrats. Also, a lot of the IDs they say you need to bring cost money, and that's essentially a fee to exercise your right, and it shouldn't cost you anything to exercise your right. That's not how rights should work. Also, it's not solving an actual problem that exists. The only type of fraud voter ID laws would prevent is when you impersonate someone else. How many times has that happened since the year 2000? There have only been 31 credible allegations of that out of the billion votes cast. Yeah, they refer to this as the solution in search of a problem. The only thing it solves is voter turnout. Republicans strategically try to reduce voter turnout because the more people that show up to the polls, the more likely it is a Democrat is going to get more votes. It's just that simple. So no, it's not because of whatever you said, McChonks. Can't believe that's your name. Your name is misleading. McChonks. I expected you to be some kind of lovable, chunky Scottish dog, but instead you're a unlovable government employee. You're wearing that uniform. Are you making videos like this on the job? Also, why can't I see up your nose? I'd say I can see your brain, but thank God you don't have one. It's like a pumpkin after you scoop out the seeds, but before you make it a jack-o'-lantern.
It's my dream in life to work on his campaign in 2024, and I will do anything I can to make that happen, and I think Donald Trump is the answer.
And you're a Michigan State University student.
Yes.
How do you know that Donald Trump is still the president?
Because he should be, because the election was stolen.
How come none of the courts accepted any of the evidence? There was no evidence.
There was a lot of evidence. The bellwether states, there was so much common sense evidence that they just didn't want to look at.
There's also common sense evidence that Joe Biden won by 7 million votes.
Yeah.
FJB, let's go, Brandon. What does it really mean?
It means fuck Joe Biden.
It's a little bit coarse, isn't it?
Who cares?
He's too old. He don't know what he's doing.
He gave a pretty good speech yesterday about Ukraine. Did you see it?
No, because I don't like to see Biden speaking.
And you're a Donald Trump supporter. How come?
Absolutely. I love him. I love him because I love the truth.
Donald, in fact, asked through his lawyers if he could file his financial disclosures without signing under penalty of perjury. And he was told, no, you have to sign under penalty of perjury. And of this more than $1.6 billion that flowed across the books of the Trump Organization and to Donald, this is before expenses of those businesses, a lot of it came from the taxpayers. Donald did everything he could to make sure that the taxpayers were putting money into his businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars.
And, you also talk about it just before the 2020 election and then on his way out the door with Stop the Steal fundraising, he rakes in $500 million. He spends less than $9 million on lawyers. The rest of that money he can use how?
Oh, he can spend it on himself, and I expect that once he is indicted in Manhattan and perhaps other jurisdictions, a lot of that money will go to criminal defense lawyers.
So we gonna get straight into it. This dude, I mean, listen, okay. Donald Trump is a comic book sketch character of a con artist. Everything he has ever done, everything he has ever touched has failed. This man is sexually attracted to his daughter. He looks ridiculous. Peanut head, rat face, meerkat, mop wig, tie that drags along the floor, don't know nothing about anything whatsoever. My man can't sell ties, he can't sell steaks, he can't sell board games, he can't make a profit at a casino. He done ripped off hundreds of people. He owes over $1 billion to banks all over the world, and so he works with criminal enterprises because no one else will give him money. My man came down the escalator in 2016, and the first thing he said was Mexicans are rapists and killers, and that carried him into the White House, and it may very well carry him into the White House again in 2024 because of the lackluster Democrats. I mean, this man is a buffoon. He is a clown, and he gets away with stealing millions of dollars in so many ways. His family always has, but he's the loud clown, and he goes to show more than pretty much anybody, maybe ever, that being a white man in America pays, that so much protection and just assumed authority comes with that, and it's real. So much so, again, that this man may very well become president again in 2024. But, you know, all I know is that he ain't ripping me off. He ain't getting my money, and I know he ain't getting yours either. So let's do what we can to get a progressive in office, because he is a very real threat. As goofy and as funny as it is, it's serious.